Good morning. This is the 14th lecture on our course Applied Electromagnetics. So far, we have started to learn mathematical tools starting from vectors, the algebra with vectors, following which we learned the two special orthogonal coordinate systems, namely the cylindrical coordinate system and spherical polar coordinate system. Subsequently, we learned and recalled the concepts on line integrals, surface integrals, and volume integrals, following which we talked about the vector calculus. And in vector calculus, we learned the first derivatives with the del operator, namely gradient of a scalar function, divergence of a vector function, curl of a vector function. And the three corresponding theorems with gradient, divergence, and curl theorem also were covered in this course in the previous classes. Then we also learned how to determine gradient, divergence, curl in the special coordinate systems, orthogonal coordinate systems, namely the spherical polar and cylindrical polar coordinate systems. So the first derivatives with the del operator have been well covered in this course. Now there is one more mathematical tool or knowledge that we require when we encounter the field and potential problems as well the wave equations. So these are the second derivatives with the del operator. And one of the special second derivatives is the Laplacian operator. We will also cover that in this class. The purpose of knowing these second derivatives and the usage of these second derivatives will not be fully understood for now. However, as we move through this course, you will understand and learn to appreciate this concept of second derivatives. The mathematical basis for these second derivatives is being laid out in this class. So kindly ensure that you are able to pick up these concepts, and later when I move through the course, I will be invoking these second derivatives as and when necessary. So at that time, you must be able to recall today's concepts then there. Okay, so that you must be very clear about it. Now, having said this, what are the second derivatives of the del operator? The second derivatives of the del operator are basically obtained from the operation of del operator on the first derivatives. So what are the first derivatives we know? We know gradient. So that is a gradient is taken on a scalar function. Here del t is a vector. That is a resultant quantity, that is gradient of a scalar function is a vector. T is a scalar function. Divergence is taken on a with the del operator on a dot in a dot product fashion on a vector function, and the resultant quantity is a scalar function. Now curl is taken on a cross product fashion on a vector function with a del operator, del cross v, and the resultant quantity is a vector. We are clear about these concepts. Now the resultant quantity being scalar or vector is very, very important. Based on that, we are going to define 5 possible second derivatives. Okay, so the first, let us take for example gradient to begin with. Gradient of a scalar function is a vector quantity, and therefore there are two possible operations. One is the in dot product fashion with its del operator, or in cross product fashion, the second operation. So if I take del dot del t, I will get a scalar value. If I take del cross del t, I will get a vector value. So the nomenclature follows from the definitions. Therefore, it is not very difficult to remember. So the first one, del dot del t, is actually divergence of gradient. Del cross del t is actually the curl of gradient. Okay, I will try to explain these concepts shortly after we define all the possible second derivatives. Now, divergence again is taken with the del operator. The first derivative divergence is obtained by taking on a vector function in dot product fashion with the del operator, and the resultant quantity is a scalar. Therefore, I can only on a scalar function, when I have to take second derivative, I can only take the gradient of the divergence. So this is the expression, gradient of the divergence, because this quantity, what you see here, is a scalar. So again, I can take only the gradient on a scalar function. So it is called gradient of divergence. Okay, we will come to that. Now the curl is actually a vector del cross v. Therefore, I can on a vector quantity, as with the gradient, we can take the second derivative, we can obtain by dot product operation with a del operator again, or cross product option. So when I take dot product, it becomes divergence of curl. The top one, that is del dot del cross v. The second one, that is called the divergence of curl. The second one is actually del cross v. So that is curl of curl. So all of these second derivatives may not result in some new quantities, and these concepts are essential, as I told you, to in various circumstances actually. For example, if I want to understand and derive expression for capacitance of a cylindrical capacitor, an expression for the capacitance for a cylindrical capacitor, I will make use of one of these second derivatives, okay, namely the Laplacian operator. Similarly, again Laplacian operator will be coming into play when we discuss about wave equations, okay, with the corresponding E and B fields. Now, there will be a lot of mathematical operations that will involve when we talk about potentials, scalar potential and vector potential. There also will be again using del operator twice, depending on the nature of the problem. So you will learn to appreciate only when we come there. But right now, you must build on this mathematical knowledge. So that is why I'm stressing on these aspects. What is del dot del t? So this is my first question, which is divergence on a gradient, divergence of gradient. Okay, del t is gradient, del is operating second time in dot product fashion, therefore it is divergence on. So del t is like a vector. So that is a, you can take with a dot product operation del dot del t, and what will we get here? So you can actually expand both del. So you can clearly see this being a scalar, you can get easily del dot del will be dou square. So del square. So del square t will be dou t square, dou square t by dou x square. Okay. And so it is actually dou t and then dou square t by dou y square, dou square t by dou z square. So these are this is the expansion. So you can see what is del. Del will be I dou by dou x plus j dou by dou y plus k dou by dou z. And del t will be dou t by dou x I hat plus dou t by dou y j hat plus dou t by dou z k hat. So with the dot product operation, I hat dot I hat, that is an unit vector onto itself in dot product fashion, will be 1. A unit vector dotted with a perpendicular unit vector will be 0, which means I hat dotted with j hat or I hat dotted with k hat will be 0. With that in mind, we will get this easily in one step, single go. So let us take an example. T equal to x square plus y square plus z square. What will be the value of del square t? This del square is what is known as the Laplacian. Laplacian of a scalar function, because t is a scalar function. So Laplacian of a scalar function will be given by, you can get it easily, 2 plus 2 plus 2 equal to 6. So what is the resultant quantity? The resultant quantity is scalar. So which means Laplacian of a scalar function will be scalar. Okay. So that is one thing. Now come to vector function. Sometimes occasionally we might come across Laplacian of a vector function, and in this case with a rectangular coordinate system, it is very simple. All you need to is basically identify the components of the vector along the xyz direction respectively for the given vector, and then you can directly take dou square vx by dou x square x hat plus dou square vy by dou y square y hat plus dou square vz by dou z square z hat. So you can actually get del square v after identifying the components. For example, if I am given a vector function v equal to x square x hat plus y square y hat plus z square z hat, the only thing is I have used the unit vector direction. Okay, with the previous example, it was a scalar function. There is no vector involved here, but whereas here it's a vector function, there is vector involved here. So that's the only big difference actually. Okay, in fact that's the only difference, but a big difference. So once you take del square v, you will get, so identify the components and then you get it. Now you can see del square v, which is a vector function v, is actually 2x hat plus 2y hat plus 2z hat. So the Laplacian of a vector function is a vector. So Laplacian of a scalar function is a scalar. Laplacian of a vector function is vector. Now I will give you an example how this Laplacian operator is going to be used. And we will recall it at the time of discussing about Poisson and Laplace equation with respect to electrostatics, and again in magnetostatics. Okay. So let us talk about electrostatics as an example. See, you got Gauss law. Gauss law is all about discussing the field, electric field, electrostatic field. The spread of the extent of the spread of the electrostatic field is dependent on the charge enclosed. Okay, so there is an expression for that. From that expression, and also using the fact that electric field can be expressed as a negative gradient of the scalar potential. So substitute over there in the Gauss equation. So E equal to minus del V. If we substitute on the Gauss law, you will get del square V equal to minus rho by epsilon naught. This equation, where rho is the volume charge density, this expression is actually the Poisson equation. Now, in regions where there are no charge densities present, in such regions, rho V subscript to E, which means volume charge density, okay, is 0. So this rho is different from the cylindrical coordinate rho. Okay, so please be careful. Rho V is actually volume charge density. There is charge per unit volume is 0 in regions where there are no charges present, and in such regions we can substitute 0 on the right hand side of that equation, Poisson equation. What will end up is the Laplace equation del square V equal to 0. Where do we encounter such a situation? Such a situation is seen between the plates of the parallel plate capacitor or cylindrical capacitor, or in the regions between two concentric spheres or two concentric cylinders. So you set up the Laplace equation del square V equal to 0. You will integrate twice. You will get two constants of integration corresponding to the two operations of integration, and those constants of integration can be obtained by applying boundary conditions. Clear? So once I apply the boundary conditions, I can derive an expression for V. Knowing V, I can find E, electrostatic field. Knowing E, I can find D. Okay. So I can find D also. Once I have D, that is the electric displacement, I can actually get the charge, and therefore substituting in the expression Q equal to CV, I can derive an expression for capacitance. This is the method of solving a Laplace equation. Laplace equation in one dimension is there. Laplace equation in 3 dimension is there. If I invoke symmetries, it is enough to solve the one dimensional Laplace equation, as will be exemplified in the subsequent classes. So this is one use of Laplacian of a scalar function. Okay. Similarly, you can have an expression for del square A. That will be with the where A is the vector potential in case of magnetostatics. Okay, we will learn all of these things. That is why I am laying out how to get this del square operator on a scalar function or del square operator on a vector function. Now I want to caution one thing here. The way we have written the Laplacian operator for Laplacian for a vector function, this is exactly cannot be done. This exactly cannot be done. This method of computing Laplacian for a given function in other coordinate systems, namely the cylindrical and spherical. So we have to basically go with this fundamental definition, that is namely the divergence of the gradient. Okay, with that definitions, we have to first evaluate gradient and then we'll have to take the divergence on that. I will come to that as the last in the last slide of this class. An example with a scalar function, how to evaluate Laplacian of a given scalar function given in cylindrical coordinate systems. Okay, we'll learn that. So what do we infer from del square T and del square V? So in nutshell, we can say that del square T is a scalar, that is Laplacian of a scalar function is scalar, Laplacian of a vector function is vector. Okay, where does this Laplacian of a scalar and vector function? This I just underlined in depth. Okay. Now the second possible operator, second derivative with del operator is the curl of a gradient function, because gradient is vector, so I can take the curl operation. What will be its? So a gradient, it represents actually the slope along the maximal increase of the function, along the steepest ascent. So it is along certain particular direction where the steepest, the function increases rapidly, most steep. Okay, the steepest. So which means you can see that del T will be actually, it is along particular direction. There is no way that function is going to rotate. So by intuition, we can say del cross del T must be 0. Is that the case? That's what we will see here. So I will expand for del and del T in determinant form. And so you can see del cross del T will be x hat y hat z hat dou by dou x dou by dou y dou by dou z dou t by dou x dou t by dou y dou t by dou z, and expand it, you will get this. So once I expand it, I want you to pay attention to the first term here. So you can see the derivative of the t scalar function is taken with respect to z to begin with first, after that with y. In this case, it is taken with respect to y and then z. It doesn't matter the order of the operation, the equality of cross derivatives will lead us to 0. So this is the point I want to make with the del cross del t. Now you can check your intuition with del t cross del s, where t and s are scalar function, and moment I have like that, I can actually get this thing. So now you replace del with, for example, del mimics that of a vector. So you can replace that del with, so if I multiply, so I will get like vector A, okay, vector A, okay, and then I have a scalar value or scalar function multiplied with that on and cross product fashion with the same vector. So AT cross AS. So T and S are there, which are scalar function. So vector A is there, vector this thing is there. So moment I take such vectors, you will always get obviously 0. So a vector cross product onto itself will get a 0. So here you can see that del cross del t, where t is a scalar function, you will get. But that's more like a fraudulent proof. But the real proof hinges on the equality of cross derivatives. So that you pay attention. Now what is del of del dot v? Okay, del of del dot v, that is the gradient on a divergence of a vector function. Okay, divergence measures the extent of spread of the vector function, which is a scalar quantity. Now gradient of that scalar function, there is no special name for this special significance associated. However, this operation will be useful when we want to define or bring out very clear-cut definition of this del square v, that is Laplacian of a vector function, as we will see shortly. Okay. Otherwise, this is a mathematical simplicity that we get, and this will be using it when we want to define the Laplacian of a vector function. What is del dotted with del cross v? What is this defined as? It is defined as the divergence of a curl of a vector function. Divergence of a curl of a vector function. So moment, that's what exactly what it is. Here, if you look at, this is curl of gradient. The first one was the divergence of gradient. This one is actually divergence of curl. So moment vector function rotates about a point. Okay, so there is only rotation associated at that point, which means there is no way this function from that point is going to diverge. It is rotating. So the direction of that function, the resultant operation will lead to either the right hand thumb rule, either going up or going down depending on the way the function rotates. Okay, so del cross v will be curl. So moment a vector function rotates at a point, there is only curl associated at that point. No way you will have a divergence associated of that resultant vector because of the right hand thumb rule. Now this intuition very clearly tells you it must be 0. Now to prove this, what I suggest is you expand what is del. So del will be I hat dou by dou x plus j hat dou by dou y plus k hat dou by dou z. Okay, and that is keep that aside for now. First, write the del cross v in determinant form, expand it, and then take the dot product with the resultant vector quantity that is coming from the curl, and you will get to 0. So this I suggest that you try to do it, you will get to 0. What is del cross v? Okay, del cross v will be the curl of curl. Del cross v. So I am taking the del cross v, the resultant quantity will be vector. Again I take another curl on that, I will get that. So this kind of again will be used when we discuss about the wave equation derivation. So we will use that this expression. So this again mathematical simplicity curl of curl. and you will see that it is can be written from expanded based on the if I given a 3 vectors A cross B cross C, I can apply the back minus cab rule. If I apply very similar here, I will get this shortcut for you to remember. You will get del of del dot V minus del square V. Okay, so where del square V is the Laplacian of a vector function. As I just told you a while ago, this is the very precise definition for del square V, more often used for when we want to derive an expression for a given vector function in spherical coordinate system or cylindrical polar, then I better use this expression and get the stuff. Otherwise, I have to go to the fundamental operation, which will be more fundamental, will be like divergence of gradient. So that is how Laplacian is defined. Divergence of gradient. Gradient is a vector quantity. When I take the divergence, I will result in a this thing. Okay, that is more fundamental. That is for the scalar function. But when we want to do this one, you have to be extremely careful to attribute a vector sign. So be careful when you handle this. You better, given a vector function, if I am asking you to compute the Laplacian, you better use this equation, get the precise definition of a Laplacian of a vector function. For scalar function, that is applicable. That is going by divergence of gradient, because moment I take on a vector function divergence, I am going to get only the scalar quantity. So Laplacian of a scalar function is scalar. So that is applicable when we talk about the scalar function given in cylindrical, spherical, and apart from rectangular. So that definition will be applicable, but this will be applicable more towards the this one for a vector function. Okay, which means the given vector function, it has both magnitude and direction. Then to define a Laplacian for a vector function, you better apply this. So expand this, you get del square V equal to, so what I have done is I have taken this side, so minus becomes plus, this side it becomes minus. So first thing is you get this value for a given vector function and then get this value, take again the gradient on that obtained vector function, you will get a vector, and here this is first is a vector, again I take a curl, so it will be vector. So vector minus vector, you will get to vector. So that is how you define the Laplacian of a vector function. Now let V be x square x hat plus y square y hat plus z square z hat. This is the example we saw with the rectangular coordinate system. So where we said del square V will be given as dou square Vx by dou x square x hat plus dou square Vy by dou y square y hat plus dou square z by dou z square z hat. So substituting, you will get actually 2x hat plus 2y hat plus 2z hat. Now if I use this, I should get the same result because both are Laplacian of the same vector function. So how am I going to get it? So let us see first what is del cross V before we jump on to this term, and then you will get the resultant of the subtraction from the two expressions. So del cross V, if I substitute, I get 0, which means this term reduces to 0, leaving only this term. Okay, so you will get this. This is only leaving this term, as this term is 0. So once I have that, you can, this is actually, so you can see here, it becomes gradient of divergence. You see, this becomes gradient of divergence. The curl of curl reduces to 0. So del square V is actually del of del dot V. This is not the same as del dot del t. Okay, so this is different, that is different. So do not get confused. So the result is the same. Obviously it has to be same. They cannot be different because the given function is same. Determine the Laplacian of a scalar function given as u equal to rho c square sine 2phi. This is the first. When you get such a problem, any problem for that matter, first find out what is being asked, what is given. So given is a scalar function. In what coordinate system it is given? It is given in cylindrical polar coordinates. Now, where the coordinates are rho phi z. So you see here rho phi z. These are the three variables. We are asked to find Laplacian of the scalar function del square u. Del square u we got to find out. So I will go with the fundamental definition of divergence of a, what is that? Divergence of a gradient. So first thing is I need to get the gradient, after that get the divergence. In only very important fact and not to be forgotten here is that when we estimate the gradient and the divergence of the given function in cylindrical and spherical polar coordinate system, I have to bring out, okay, the definition of gradient for that coordinate. Similarly, divergence of that coordinate. So gradient, you will get a vector quantity. Now you take on the divergence, and here the given function is scalar quantity. Therefore, del square u, that is the Laplacian of the scalar function, should be scalar. So that is what we are going to get. Okay. So let us expand this. First get the gradient. So how do I get gradient? So what I will do is, gradient is defined in general curvilinear coordinate system as, if you remember in the previous class, we defined in the generalized curvilinear coordinate system, we defined the unit vectors to be L1 got, L2 got, L3 got. By analogy, we also defined the linear parameters, namely A1, A2, A3, the angular parameters dou S1, dou S2, dou S3. So keeping that aspect in mind, we expanded the expression for del U in generalized curvilinear coordinate system as dou U by dou L1, L1 hat plus dou U by dou L2, L2 hat plus dou U by dou L3, L3 hat, and where dou L1, dou L2, dou L3 are with the respective products of the linear and angular parameter. So we get an expression like this. Now, if you can remember what are these A1, A2, A3 and dou S1, dou S2, dou S3, that is the angular parameters, then we know that for cylindrical polar coordinate system, let us take one step at a time. L1 got, L2 got, L3 got. What are the unit vectors in cylindrical polar coordinate system? The unit vectors are going to be A rho hat, A phi hat, AC hat respectively. What is A1, A2, A3? A1, A2, A3 will be 1 rho and 1 respectively. What are dou S1, dou S2, dou S3? Dou S1 will be dou rho, dou S2 will be dou phi, dou S3 will be dou z. So substituting that, we can get this del u, that is the gradient of the given scalar function in cylindrical coordinate system, as dou u by dou rho A rho hat plus 1 by rho dou u by dou phi A phi hat plus dou u by dou z AC hat. So you substitute for the given function, you can write it like this and you get the result. Okay. So because the given function, if you see rho z square sine 2 phi, the rho is differentiable with respect to dou rho, but c square and sine 2 phi are not dependent on rho, therefore can be taken out of the differentiation. So you will get to replace the same, and dou rho by dou rho will be 1. So along the A rho hat direction. Now along A phi hat direction, it will be, you can take the except that of the phi coordinate, you can take the rho and z square. So there is a rho here in the way we defined the gradient in cylindrical coordinate system. That row is here, and if I differentiate this sin 2 phi, I will get 2 cos 2 phi. So rho c square into another row is there. So you will get, I mean, here it becomes actually, there is actually dou u by dou phi. So that row is here, another row. So these two rows will be getting cancelled. So leaving 2z square cos 2 phi. Now here I have dou u by dou L3. So again, with respect to z coordinate, so I can take rho and sin 2 phi outside of the differentiation. You will get 2z here. So that is exactly here. 2 rho z sin 2 phi AC hat. So this is the gradient. Now on this gradient function, which is vector, I have to take divergence. Again, I have to pull the hat out of my bag. In this case, an expression for the divergence in cylindrical curvilinear coordinate system. So CCS. So cylindrical coordinate system, when I do that, I will get an expression. So first again I write the general curvilinear coordinate system and replace correspondingly for the VL1, VL2, VL3, which are the components of the given vector. So in this case it is a cylindrical curvilinear coordinate system. So the components along A row will be z square sin 2 phi, along A phi will be 2 rho z square, no, rho is getting cancelled. So 2z square cos 2 phi, 2z square cos 2 phi, and then along AC direction it becomes 2 rho z sin 2 phi. So that those are the VL1, VL2, VL3. A1, A2, A3 again are 1 rho and 1 respectively. Dou S1, dou S2, dou S3 will be your dou rho, dou phi, dou z. So substituting we get like this. So once I have that, I can easily now differentiate. We are ready. In another step, we get the answer. So I hope the process of defining or determining Laplacian of a scalar function given in curvilinear coordinate system, namely the cylindrical and spherical polar coordinate system that we learned in this course, has to be done in a very systematic manner. Otherwise, you might miss out on the mathematics. So by now you are well versed with a second derivatives with the del operator. So all of those second derivatives will be used in various circumstances, as you will see throughout this course. Now the next class will be the last class on these mathematical concepts. We will define what are the various definitions for or equivalent representations for curleless field and a divergenceless field. Curleless field means it is a vector function. If it is irrotational, then that represents a curleless field. If the vector function does not spread about a point, then it is divergenceless or solenoidal. So for those functions, we will make use of the fundamental theorems of gradient, divergence and curl, and then we will lay out the definitions, and apart from it, we will discuss the qualitative treatment of Helmholtz theorem. So with that, the mathematical concepts will be complete, following which we will take up the electrostatics and move on with this course. So remember, all of these mathematical concepts have been taught only to solve electrostatic field, electric field and magnetic field. I mean, we have to determine electric and magnetic field from the various physical quantities. It could be either potential function or it could be the sources producing this electric and magnetic field, how to compute that. And in that, we might use either the differential form of Gauss law or integral form of Gauss law. In either way, we need to use the del operator will come across. So it is very, very essential that you pick up the concepts. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to deal with this course. So 15 classes have been covered. I encourage you to do more problems apart from what is solved in the class or what is laid out in the class as an demonstrated example. But we are also giving assignments apart from your quizzes. But you must do more problems, you get more comfortable. Okay. So thank you. If you have any questions, you are welcome to shoot it to me by email or in any other mode of communication. I'll be happy to assist you and give you guidance on solving these problems. Okay. Thank you. Bye.